Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a deadlift day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. So we're going to keep with the theme of what I'm doing with this training. Of course I did 20 pull-ups this morning, even though I decided to deadlift, because here's the thing. If I can't come in and do some pull-ups a few hours before I deadlift, how do I expect to hit big deadlifts in comp after squatting and stuff? So, not really a big deal. And I think kind of what I'm going to do so that I can stay focused on my big three and then appropriate accessories for them each day. I think I'm going to even pull the pull-ups and chins from my normal training and just try to knock some out every day and get a minimum of 10 quality sets every week, which means most mornings I'll do a set of, real close to failure for you guys. And I think even for biceps, I could probably just do curls, right? So bench day, I'm going to do a bunch of benching and arm work. Squat day, we'll do a lot of squatting. And maybe my ab stuff, my hanging leg raises or whatever. So deadlift day, I went with 3x5. I want to build up to be able to do 5 sets again after the heavy single. And granted, now that's nowhere near a max single. We're keeping with the orc mode plan of running training maxes and I'm going to do 95, 97.5, 100% of my training max in a 3-week wave. And then if everything feels good, we will bump the training max slightly each wave and just get a general upward trend, with the goal of being our training max is right about what we want to hit for meets each time. So if I do 3 to 4 meets a year, I want to just hit my training maxes in comp, right? I'm not going to go 100% in meets. And some people are like, well, why not? Because I'm looking at this. I just entered this new weight class. Some of the records are easily within reach. And, realistically, I'm over 45. I don't want to get hurt in meets. Not worth it. If I can just build up and always work towards my training maxes, I can PR in meets all the time, multiple meets a year. And then what? Break records. And I can do it probably without getting hurt, because we're just hitting training maxes. Good, clean form. So today, this is the lightest week in the wave because I'm working off that training max of 551, because that's what I easily pulled in meet to get my state record. And obviously I'll PR that the next 2 meets because it wasn't my max. I've done rep work with that in the past. So, so this one is 525, and then we'll go up, and then, 2 weeks from today, we'll pull the 551, and if it feels nice and light, we'll bump it up. Right? We'll bump it up amounts that are appropriate to try to put me on schedule to just PR at every meet. And I think early on, 10 kilo PRs will be easy the first meet or 2 again. And then, after that, we'll have to scale them down, and we'll get to a point to where even small PRs will be all that I need. All right, it's all I'm going to need. And if I can just get my bench up, which I know I can do now now that I've got my shoulder health under control, overuse under control, I can take all 4 records from my class in the IPL for the world record, and that'll be the plan. We know I'm going to get the deadlift this year. That should be totally easy. So what are we doing on deadlift day? I did just 3x5, working off percentages of the training max. And I'd like to be able to get that up to 5. Those were fairly easy, but I wanted to add more posterior chain work. I want to bring the volume back up. So I did 5 sets of these 2 supplemental lifts. But ideally, I'd like to get that up to a 5x5. And I probably could have, I just don't want to get too sore or beat up again. Add volume back in slowly as we're able to cover, keeping in mind I'm in a very, very small calorie deficit right now on low carbs. So just need to be aware of that. But my protein is ultra high. And I've got some muscle memory still to work off of. People forget I lost muscle and strength during this cut, because the lowest point of my cut was 209. Of course, I'm a little heavier than that now because of all the sodium loading and potassium loading and water loading I'm doing. But, we'll keep working down towards 200-ish. But keeping in mind, it was like 37 pounds of weight loss from the bulk I had done and finished like a year before. When I started seeing sleep apnea and stuff. and, built my squat up super, super heavy. So I can possibly gain a little muscle memory even while slow cutting, keeping the protein really high. I might be able to get a mild recomposition only because of muscle memory, right? Not because of new growth. So we'll keep it moving forward. So I wanted to get the volumes pretty optimal. So we did 5x10 on the glute ham raises. In the first set, I had reps in reserve. The last set, I almost had to grind the last rep. Actually, the last 2 sets. So, we're right about with 10 on this setting, which is, I can only fit into 1 more setting, and there's 2 more settings harder than what I have. But I can't really physically get into the device on the hardest one. My legs are too big to fit between to climb in. I would just need to put a ladder next to it to try to climb into it, because I can't step up between that spot. So we're almost at the limit there. But, if these get too easy and we build the hamstrings back up, especially if I continue to lose a little weight, I'll go to the harder setting. But we're right about where we need to be, and in terms of, again, even rebuilding, I may not need to do that, because if I can build up to 12s or 13s on that hard setting, that's a substantial hypertrophy, for someone with an elite deadlift already. Reverse hypers. At 5x10, but I ended up getting a couple reps on the final set. So we did 275 for strict sets of 10. So following up just, a little bit of low volume deadlifting, not real high volume, 3 work sets after my, moderately heavy single. And like I said, I want to build that up to 5. I think 5x5 or even back to 5x10s. But I don't know. I feel like on the deadlifts, mainly because I get so much reps for the back with the pull-ups because of the reps I'm capable of doing, that maybe the deadlifts I should go a little heavier. Right? Should go a little heavier with slightly lower reps. I mean, they're still not limit sets, but they're large enough to get a training response. We're getting practice in, keeping the movement pattern. Now, I'm probably, ideally, if I can get used to doing multiple sets after the heavy work with the low bar, my benching and my squatting volume will be higher than the deadlifting. I don't think we need to be doing 10 sets of deadlifts. I have done 10 sets of deadlifts in the past at different points in my life. I don't think it's necessary for me to do that when I have access to all this posterior chain stuff. If I didn't have the glute ham raise and the reverse hyper, though, I could probably justify 10 total sets of some type of deadlift. Even if we did the back half of it with Romanians or stiff legs, like I could say even stiff leg, would be reasonable. But I have this equipment, and it lets me put my back in traction at the end. I really like doing traction type movements through the week and at the end of my workouts, especially Friday after pulling to help with recovery. But yeah, this is really a posterior chain day, right? Yes, there's some grip. Yes, there's some other back, but this is a posterior chain day. It's really what it comes down to. And so that's what we did. And we hit it with a pretty substantial amount of volume. So I'm happy with it. And we just keep slowly working back up and knock down the deadlift record. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.